Today we reflect on the readings for Wednesday of the third week of Easter. We're in the Jesuit Cemetery on the property of what had been the novitiate juniorate of the Maryland province of the Society of Jesus. This land had been purchased in the 1920s, the main building built in 1928 and 29, and this cemetery established shortly thereafter. The first person to be buried here was a Jesuit novice, a young man who had not yet taken his vows, but died for some reason and was buried here in 1931. And from that time, the cemetery continues to receive the human remains of Jesuits in this older section that you see, and in a newer section you'll see presently. A cemetery is a place to remember those who we have cared for, all they have done and accomplished, that which we might remember was rather troublesome about them, and yet we recall that they led dedicated lives and now are with the Lord, and they intercede for us, and they invite us into their midst when our right time comes. This is a promise we hear Jesus tell us in today's gospel. And in our first reading, we hear about the intensifying prejudice and persecution of our early forebears in the faith. You and I live in a persecuting world. Sometimes we persecute one another. But Jesus calls us to hope, to fullness of life, to healing, so that whatever it is that you and I might encounter in our lives, we will have fullness of life through him. So on this day, in this Easter season, let's recall the terrible, terrible events of Jesus' passion, the terrible misfortune for his companions of his death, but the great joy, their great joy and our great joy of his resurrection. Let's be very joyful today and ask for the intercession of the Jesuits buried here. Perhaps other Jesuits you know, other people who have died whom you know. Ask for their intercession for our benefit and the benefit of our world today. And now I invite you to take a look, a panoramic look at this property. Again, the older section, the roadway leading down from the main house, the fields around the property, and then the newer section, already filling up. Might I be buried there? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Wherever you or I are buried, the Lord will lift us up and hold us to himself. These are our human remains left behind, of course, along with the memories held in the minds of the people we have cared for, we have attended to, we have served. Let's recall with great joy that we have eternal life in the next life, in the mind of God, and in the minds and the hearts of the people whom we have cared for in the course of our earthly lives.